somebody who wants to become a natural bodybuilder, I believe that my advice to them is to ask a lot of questions. Some people are very shy about it, others are not. But my thing is, you want to get into the back pocket of somebody who's been in the sport, somebody that knows the if and and about different organizations, the different criteria, who can help you to understand, why you have to be at a certain level. Again, it's all about asking a lot of questions.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome to episode 176 of the SuperSetYourLife.com podcast, your weekly workout motivation to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym. Loren Thomas is an OCB professional bodybuilding athlete and judge. He is also a motivational speaker, mindfulness coach, competition prep coach, and CEO of F.O.C.U.S. That is an acronym, and we're going to discuss that more here in a bit. We met a few weeks ago at the Open Natural, in which I guest posed at, and Loren was among the very fine lineup of judges. Matthew 7:1 teaches, "Do not judge so that you won't be judged." That's what's ironic about Loren. Technically speaking, he's a bodybuilding judge, but he's one of the least judgmental people you'll ever meet, as I found out before and after the Open Natural, as he was encouraging, uplifting, yet honest and straightforward to all the competitors, and even the posing feedback he was kind enough to give me following the show. It's leaders like Thomas that make natural bodybuilding what it should be, a friendly competition, but ultimately a movement of athletes making wise decisions concerning their health. Loren Thomas, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, pleasure is all mine. So, the show, you saw it from a completely different angle than I did. How did you think the Open Natural went overall for it being the first annual?
The Open Natural overall for me was I would say it's a pleasure to have in that area, knowing that natural bodybuilding doesn't get a lot of love, especially among other organizations. The competitiveness is intimidating to some of these athletes, as far as if they should compete or not compete, and for them for this to be a natural bodybuilding show, it's like there's always a doubt about what does it take to compete on a natural show. And this is one of the first shows that I've judged where you're being welcome and open arm, to do whatever it takes to compete on stage, just to show off your hard work. And I really like the Open a lot because I saw it from a different angle, being a judge in the past from different organization. And this is one of the first shows that I judged where you can see the naturalness, the collaboration with different athletes, the sportsmanship, all that come into play, which is very important when it comes to compete at a natural show.
Mm-hmm. There's very much a family vibe and a health first vibe backstage, to where it felt like it was a team sport. Like mm-hmm. we're all a team on the same mission, and we were there for the same purpose. It wasn't about winning, even though it was dramatic, or at least I tried to make it dramatic being the MC.
But it was very encouraging. Like I said, especially for those who competed for the first time, and then even like from a judging standpoint, where I was standing, that you can get the vibe from the family members, friends, guests in the back, so you can tell that they were very encouraging. They were very comfortable as far as come to a natural show.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a step back. What made you decide to become a competitive bodybuilder in the first place?
Well, I'm a little older than what most people think, but I've been around the game for a while. Never really had a chance to take it seriously like I did when I moved to Chicago. I've been there for like going on 17 years, but now I'm back in Seattle. So you can see the difference as far as environment, people you come in contact with. Being a trainer, training athletes and clients for over 20 plus years, I decided to, back in 2008, I believe, 2008, to lead by example. So it wouldn't make sense for a trainer to train somebody who want to compete on stage if they've never done it before. So I figured my role do it myself and then lead by example. This is what I've learned. This is what I've done as a competitive, bodybuilding athlete, to compete on stage, just to lead by example that anybody can do this if they really put the heart and mind into it.
Absolutely. How did you earn your OCB Pro card, and what did that feel like?
Well, again, it's like one of those situations where you have to do like a lot of I'm gonna say this. From my perspective, it's about showing up. Um, I did a lot of research on different competition, different venue, different shows. Um, it's kind of like you have to really pick your battle, so to speak. But then again, you got to kind of pick the show that you feel comfortable doing. And I got my
Mhm.
OCB Pro card by showing up because there was other athletes before me. I mean, I'm talking about tremendous, great athletes that wanted to, to compete. So I just decided to show up.
Yeah.
And among a lot of athletes that I could compete against, I won my pro card by showing up. So it's one of those things that you can't really predict what's going to happen. You can't really look at it like, oh, who am I competing against? You're really competing against yourself. You're not really competing against anybody else. So that's one of the things that I like to share with my, prospective clients. Just do it for you. Don't do it for somebody else. Don't compare yourself to somebody else. Just show up, and you be surprised of the outcome.
hmm we have a lot of competitors right now that are on the fence about which show that they're trying to do. So we're looking into all the federations depending on where they're located at, and so that's OCB. In some cases, it seems to be prevalent, like in the West and the Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, IPE, NANBF was
Mm-hmm.
popular here in the PNW. It seems to be more of a like Middle East thing now
Mm-hmm.
of the US, or like the mid US. And then
Mm-hmm.
INBF, WNBF seems to be growing a lot on the West Coast. And
Yes.
so those are most of the last shows that I did.
Yeah, I do know the WMBF, IMBF, NGA, OCB. They're growing. I mean, ever since COVID hit it, it's one of those organizations that really push, for the athlete to really display their hard work. Because again, it's one of those. A lot of those shows are natural. There's
Mhm.
other organizations which I'm not gonna be negative about it, but it's one of those things that if somebody want to compete in any organization, I'm all for it. Just kind of let them know what to expect, the different criteria changes. I mean, it could be tweaked based on
Right.
what show you want to do. So
It's really important to double check the banned substance list too, because there's things that weren't on there a year ago and they're on there now.
correct.
Especially, I think the fastest thing that I see adding to the list is stimulants, because
Yeah.
when I was doing my last shows, I was on like every stimulant that you could
Yeah.
imagine. Not
Yeah.
in 2022, but the couple years before that.
Hmm.
I just kind of got out of control with my caffeine intake and was using all the hardcore pre-workouts, and a
Yeah.
lot of those are they're like amphetamines basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like their
Yeah.
chemical structure is so similar.
Yeah. They're definitely one of those situations as a coach that I want to make sure that a lot of the athletes that I train that they read what they eat
Yeah.
or take what they're going to take because even if it's prescribed by a doctor, they still got to be very careful what they put in the body
hmm
and
Would you
and what can be banned by different organizations. So that's one of the things that as a coach and as an athlete, you have to really know what you put in your body.
Right. And if you are on something for like medical reasons, like if you're on, like we had a gal that was on diuretics, for example, which
Hmm.
is on the banned substance list,
Hmm.
but she was on that because she needed to be on it for health reasons. And so
Yeah.
we actually experimented taking it out for a little bit, and she started
Hmm.
gaining water, and so
Yeah.
of course we just got her right back on it, and then we just contacted the promoters and we were like, hey, like is this okay? And they were obviously fine with it.
Yeah. So it's like again, one of those situations where you have natural diuretic and then you have supplementation prescription diuretic. So it's one of those
Right.
things where, again, me as a coach, I have to make sure that okay, this is something natural. I mean, we can get it from food, but then if it's more of a, you know, prescription type, we have to make sure that it's something that they're not taking that is banned from the list. So we got to be very careful about that.
Right. 100%. What made you decide to become a judge? Because I'm considering becoming a judge myself and just know nothing about what it takes. So, what does it take to become a bodybuilding judge?
Well, a lot of time they have to, based on you, what you want to do. I did it because I want to pretty much expand my knowledge. about the sport. Being a judge from different organization, knowing the criteria. Um, I mean, especially in different organizations, because you have to kind of know, and you want to be fair because it's supposed to be like an even ground. Even when doing competition, it's hard for the different judges to really communicate because this is something that, as a judge, you have to know the criteria and be able to judge fairly. Otherwise, you don't want to look at other judges and think that okay, this is uneven. It may not look good from the crowd perspective. So we gotta be very careful. That's the reason why I want to expand my knowledge as far as learning the different criteria to help athletes who wanted to compete.
Mm-hmm. How many different organizations have you judged in? Is it the same from organization to organization, or are there differences?
I judged three different ones. NPC is one of them. Um,
Oh,
of
okay.
course,
Wow.
that's totally different because sometimes NPC is not the same as the professional, which is IFBB. It's totally different from what the judges are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you want to be able to start out by being a tech judge. Being a tech judge is one of the things that all judges should do to take advantage of because you want to see at the end, not doing, but at the end to see how your score match up with the regular judging panel. And if it's something
Mm-hmm.
like totally off, it's one of those things that judge have to really. I'm not saying they had to be on point, but they had to be within the same scoring system because of the different criteria for different organizations.
Okay. Generally speaking, what's like the biggest difference between NPC and IFBB, and then um, INBF, PNBA, and these other organizations that are strict natural organizations?
From a criteria standpoint, it can be totally different. It can be similar, but it's different of the way of the poses. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
poses to be very straight on, others are very strictly based on that category. Um, if I judge an NPC show and then a IFBB show, obviously the IFBB is more of a professional organization for a pro athlete. Of course, the look gonna be totally different from the criteria standpoint. Um, Even with OCB and NGA that I've done before in the past, you can tell the difference between the pro level and the amateur level based on who entered or who registered to be an athlete. Because not all, I mean, every pro athlete, has their starting point, but then again, depends on who competing that day. I mean, you can have, for example, 5 women athletes who want to become a bikini model or a bikini competitor, but all 5 may not meet the criteria that organization is looking for. So obviously, from a judging standpoint, we have to know what are we looking at, what are we looking for. So basically, pretty much, you have to find the best, body or best, look presentation from that, lineup. So it can be totally different. I mean, you can have 5 women athletes who look like figure model, but they're all into the bikini, category,
Right.
which is something that as a whole, just in case if something like that happened. I mean, even with the natural show that we just did, there's quite a few athletes really didn't fit the criteria, but we have to judge accordingly. I mean, one girl can be this. I mean, it can be two bikini athlete. One probably look better in figure, the other one might be better in bikini. And then when it
Right.
comes to a different category, it can flip flop. So that's
100%.
one of the things, and that's one of the reasons why, as a judge, I would like let the audience know what we're looking for, and then kind of let them know this is how we chose our athlete. So
Right.
it's a give and take, but at the same time, like even when I was a promoter in the past, when I choose my judging panel, I have to make sure that each judges know the criteria for that organization. Otherwise, there can be some issues, that we don't want to, come across. So that's one of the things that when a promoter chooses a judging panel, we gotta make sure that each judges know the different criteria for different class.
Absolutely. On that note, so we did something quite a bit different at the Open Natural. There are 3 men's classes and 3 women's classes. And actually, I was going to piggyback off what you just said. No, I've experienced that firsthand. When I'll typically do best in if it's a natural show that I'm doing, I'll do best in open bodybuilding. If I am doing a show that's not tested, I don't stand a chance. Like not a chance in hell. And so so I just like really don't even bother. And so I'll do classic physique and men's physique too. But in men's physique, I never place as well. It's not what the judges are looking for. And so even though I'm in the best shape of my life, I could still be great at one category and not the best at another. And I usually still do bodybuilding and men's physique, even at NPC shows anyway, just because I'm there. Why not? You know, for the pictures. It's just like when you go to if you're going to go to the track meet and run the 100-yard dash, throw the discus while you're there. You know?
It's one of the things that, as in, I know I experienced at the natural, like you have to look at it from 2 different angles: what the athletes want and what the coaches want. And then from there, it's more like after each athlete competed, it's good to have feedback from the different judges from their angle, and knowing what athlete competed at, as far as okay, this is what we're looking for. How come I place second or third? Stuff like that. But then again, I remember asking one of the athletes, what category do you want to do? I mean, of course, her coach want her to do 3 different, classes. I mean, it can be from bodybuilding, figure, and bikini. So my thing as an athlete, each athlete should know just what category that they want to do and kind of work from there.
Absolutely. So what's your opinion on the 3 different categories for women, the way that we did it? So there was men's bodybuilding, classic physique, and men's physique. And then for women, we did women's bodybuilding, figure, and bikini, and said, heck with the other 400,000 categories that there are for the females these days, because it's intimidating to pick. I get people that are coming to me like, hey, I'm a first-time competitor. Which category should I do? There's like 12 of them. And I'm like, okay, figures, basically bodybuilding and high heels, blah, blah, blah. And then you just got to go through the rundown.
I mean, it can be intimidating at first, but that's why, as a coach, I mean, I have quite a few athletes right now. They really don't know what category to do. And my thing is one of those things where it's a basic, like, what's your normal front, back, side, what you look like. I mean, I can kind of determine how many weeks out they are, are at. I mean, I can tell who's 8 weeks out, 12 weeks out, whatever. But then again, it's one of those situations where you ask the athlete, what do you want to do? If it's something that your coach wants you to do or your significant other, that's a different story. But as an athlete, they have to be feeling comfortable of what class or division or that they want to do. And then as a coach, each coach should know how many weeks out they are at to kind of determine if they're in a bikini or figure or bodybuilding. It's the same as men. So it doesn't. I mean, like I said, there might be other categories for different organizations where you have an athlete division. Is that the same as physique? Most likely not. so it's one of those situations where an athlete can be more less muscular than a physique athlete. There's a lot of physique athletes, men and women, who are more conditioned than a bodybuilder, which is kind of backwards because normally bodybuilding is more massive, the symmetry, the look, condition, all that. But then again,
that's the idea, but that's not really what you see in practice.
So when you take then again, what's normal? If you take a normal athlete, they look a certain, they're very conditioned and they can look better than a bodybuilder, which is something wrong. Something wrong with it. I mean, there's been girls who went from starting out with bikini, she was a little too lean, and then she went to figure, and she got wider on top for figure because they want that, her to meet the criteria. But then again, she didn't do very well. And then wellness came in. It's more of an athletic girl with less shoulder, lat, back work, with, and they have nice development in the legs. So it was very confusing because from a female athlete to go from bikini to figure back to wellness, it may not go well because they already gotten bigger on top for figure. Now they're working their way back down to wellness. So it's one of the things that we have to really look at the different criteria to see how each athlete match that criteria, because otherwise it's going to be a long process. So it's good to know what category that they specifically want to do.
Absolutely. What you said about how you can, this is something you only see with people that have coached a lot of competitors and done a very, very good job with it, but very, very experienced coaches. I'm a huge fan of Mark Levano of Tiger Fitness. And what you said just reminded me of what he said. He goes, you need a coach that can look at you and be like, yeah, you're about 7 weeks out, and you should do a refeed on this day. And then like on show day, that same coach should be able to look at you and be like, you need a sweet potato right now. And so looking beyond what's just on paper and what works scientifically, and what you think may or may not be the best approach, but having that relationship with your clients to where you're in a state of flow to where you know what that person's body needs to be able to perform at their best.
Exactly. So that's why the communication between athletes and coaches is very, very, very important, because otherwise, it can pretty much sabotage the relationship between the coach and the client. So, so that's why coaches got to be on top of it. The communication factor got to be on top notch. All of that. I mean, it make a big difference when it comes to like how a athlete want to look at a certain time when it comes to competing on the stage.
What does that look like for you in terms of your communication with your clients?
I mean,
is it all day, every day? Do they check in once a week and you just have an hour-long powwow?
I mean, that's a very good question, because each athlete is totally different.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I'm the same way. Like there's some people that we text every day. There's some people I don't hear from in a week, and then bam, like an hour after I check in, I'm like, okay, they're crushing it.
I mean, I have a client right now who they're supposed to be, today's Saturday, they're supposed to be at least emailing me, texting me, today, as far as what they look like, how many more weeks out, all that, right? But it doesn't go for every athlete. Some athletes will rather text, email me on a Monday. Great. If their if their first day starts on Monday, great. If it starts on Saturday, great. But at the same time, though, timing is crucial, and accountability. Number one, accountability is very important when you want to communicate with your athlete and a coach, just to see where they're at. Because otherwise, if you don't get that, I guarantee 90% of the time it's not going to go well.
Hey everyone, Coach Taylor Milton here. Welcome to Skullbellz TV, the official YouTube channel of supersetyourlife.com, where you're going to discover a weekly upload of quick and easy to follow workout tutorials featuring Coach Colt, myself, or one of our athletes to keep your workouts fun, practical, and effective. Our family's latest keto carnivore recipes that fuel Colt's competitions and keep myself and our kiddos strong and healthy. Video uploads of the supersetyourlife.com podcast, now over 100 episodes, your weekly dose of entertainment, education, and inspiration to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym, and much more. Last thing before we get into the video, we're asking a big favor from you. This has been working beautifully, so if you would please think of someone you care about that would benefit from this video, go ahead and smash that like button, click the share button, and text this video to them. That would mean the world to us. And while you're at it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss more exciting content from Skullbellz TV, because our team has lots of meat and lots of muscle coming your way, and I promise you won't want to miss it. When you hit the subscribe button, you'll see a bell icon pop up. You want to click that too, so you're notified every time we release a new video. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world to us. Every like, share, and subscription helps our channel grow and supports our family's hard work. So thank you so much for doing your part too. That's all we ask. God bless you, and please enjoy this video.
Absolutely. There's and it's a dialogue. It's a two-way street. It's not just the coach saying, hey, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to pump you up on Mondays. I'm going to remind you to send me progress photos on Thursdays or whatever. And those are all things that a good coach should do. But there's the athlete that needs to take the responsibility to be checking in with their coach. And my advice to everybody is always just, hey, the more communication, the better. Tell me what your favorite band is. Tell me what got you out of bed this morning. You know, like, how are you doing as a person? So how do you encourage that kind of communication from your clients? Like, do you, is there something that you recommend as an athlete? I don't know, just more things from your perspective that they should be taking initiative to come to the coach with?
I do things a little differently from most coaches because of my background in nursing. Because in nursing, you deal with so many different types of patients at all. I mean, you'd be surprised. They can be similar, but they're totally different when it comes to like their limitation, their ailments, or what's going on with that person. So some do well texting, some do well emailing, some do well on the phone. I'm a little bit more old school. So, but then again, at the same time, I'll catch myself texting to a lot of my clients based on the time that I do have. But I mean, like I said, you have to really know communication. You have to really know your client from the get go. Like, you have to kind of know their availability. You kind of have to know their background. You kind of have to know what's going on with them, why they want to get into, competition bodybuilding. All the whole. I mean, I'm not saying you have to know everything about your client, but you got to know something that they will feel comfortable communicating with you on a weekly basis.
You got to know how they think, don't you? Like, there's some people that I swear it's just they just need time on the phone. They just need my time talking belief into them because like they don't think that they can do it. And then there's some people where it's like, okay, enough with the positivity and everything and all the motivational crap. You just show me exactly what to do, and then I'll believe it when I see all the numbers add up and see like where this is going, and then there's not one that's better or worse. It's just people are different.
And that's why whatever works for your client and yourself as a coach, you'd be surprised it'll go far.
Yeah. What does FOCUS stand for? I'm dying to know.
FOCUS stand for, of course, it's an acronym. Focus on creating unique self.
That's awesome. So that's your brand, huh?
So basically, every individual is totally different. You have to really know yourself in order to get to a certain, from point A to point B or whatever was going on in your life. I mean, of course, I believe in lifestyle. Certain things have to be a part of your lifestyle. I mean, again, it's like you have to really know yourself in order to be unique.
Absolutely. What advice do you have for natural bodybuilders who aspire specifically to become a pro? Meaning their goal is not long-term health. Obviously, as natural bodybuilders, our goal is long-term health, but they're taking it a bit more extreme than that. Wanting to become a professional bodybuilder. What does it take? Do you have to be a certain age? Do you have to be the right genetics?
Age is nothing but a number. It don't have to be a certain age, but I do know that for somebody who want to become a natural bodybuilder, I believe that my advice to them is to ask a lot of questions. Some people are very shy about it, others are not. But my thing is, you want to get into the back pocket of somebody who's been in the sport, somebody that knows the if and and about different organizations, the different criteria, who can help you to understand, why you have to be at a certain level or why you have to know the criteria. But again, it's all about asking a lot of questions. Know your body, get familiar with the different organizations. So again, you got to ask a lot of questions.
Good stuff. Where is the best place for people to go, for our listeners to find out about you and your content, sir?
Well, I'm pretty simple. I don't really expose like I should, but a lot of time people can come in contact with me on my Instagram page, which is Loren Thomas OCB Pro. Spell it out LORENTHOMAS OCB Pro, or Facebook with Loren Thomas, and you see a guy jumping up in the air if you know my face. But otherwise, they can reach out by email, lorenthomasfitness@gmail.com. And the other one is vocalcreator@gmail.com. So those
Awesome.
who know me, Instagram is pretty much probably one of the popular ones that people kind of look at, and then they can DM me for any questions or concerns or whatnot. Oh, and of course, I do have a website. It's www.focusbylorenthomas.com. If they want to check that out, and if they have any questions, they can ask me.
Awesome. I'm going to put links to all that in the show notes, and so you can all check those out below. Thank you so very much. One more question. I feel like it wouldn't be a complete podcast if we didn't ask
No problem.
this, but would you recommend the Open Natural as a bodybuilding competition for natural athletes that are looking for a show next summer?
Next summer, I would recommend, especially for first timers, those who are local. It'll be a good stepping stone to step into, just to see what it feels like to step on stage. Get that experience. I mean, Open Natural is probably a good way for most athletes to start. So they won't be intimidated by the other organization.
Awesome. Can't wait for it. That's the next event on my calendar. I'm not stepping on stage until then. So a couple more years of probably about 1 or 2 more years of guest posing. And then you and I are gonna do some talking off air about getting my pro card and which organization.
You might get the pro card before you do your guest posing. We'll see.
I don't think so, man. I got too many other things to take care of before that.
You'll be surprised.
Now, when I go, I'm gonna make sure. When you went to get yours, did you have the mindset of, I am getting this, and there is absolutely no one else that stands a chance, or was your attitude like, I hope I have a chance at getting it? What was your mindset going in?
My mindset has always been whatever it takes. It's not like a hoping, because hoping it can be up in the air, so to speak. But if you know you're going to get it, you just do whatever it takes to get to that point. Just like for me, when I got my pro card, I just showed up. So you just show up just to see whatever it takes, and then you'll be surprised.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's the plan. Can't wait. Thanks again so much for the talk. Not just for that, but for everything at the show, man. I mean, the time that we spent afterward. I mean, hanging out with Ingrid, and the belief that you spoke into her, and the belief that you spoke into me, the critiques that you gave me. I can't wait to come back. November is actually the next time I'm going to be in Seattle for a couple NPC shows I'm coaching some guys through. So
cool.
We'll be there. We'll be there for a couple of weeks. We should get a pump in.
Already.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks again, Loren.
Thank you.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us for this entire episode. If you found this helpful, please pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Our Apple Podcast review of the week is from Lori Smith. She says, great interview. Thanks for sharing. And that was in response to episode 154 with Stephen Thomas, in which we discussed why you should not use calories as a weight loss metric. Your ratings and reviews got us to where we are at. If you are not subscribed, please do that so we can continue to grow the channel organically and share the knowledge. Thank you in advance. Client Spotlight. This is from Nathaniel Gates from West Virginia. He is down 10 pounds since the start of his meat-based competition prep. He started on July 10th, and so it's been about 6 weeks since starting. That's good progress, bro. Shredded. He is leaner than I am right now at 11 weeks out from his next show. He's also taller than me, and he weighs 195, so basically the same. And so if you understand bodybuilding, that makes him quite a bit more competitive than me. Let me put it this way, pal. I'm glad that you're going to get your pro card before me because I don't think I would stand a chance against you right now. You're looking scary, man. This man is going places in natural bodybuilding. Check out our recent podcast with him where he went all over his diet. We went through his training, how he's used the carnivore diet to cure Crohn's disease, and a lot more. That was episode 168 from a couple weeks ago. His Instagram is ngates93. Store review of the week is from Elisha. It says, those new crumbly protein bars taste like pastries. So he is referring to our new metabolic nutrition crumbly protein bars. They're called crumbly because that's the texture. They nailed the texture on these things. So I totally agree with him on those. Health summary on these, nutrition summary. I would classify the ingredients as similar to like the most leading whey protein bars that you see at your local supplement store. They're not as clean as the ingredients that we have in keto bricks. So as far as meal replacement goes, there's still nothing, in my opinion, that comes close to a keto break. It's a more cost-effective meal replacement solution, though. So, like, they're great for our kids. They're great for people that don't have a specific fat loss goal, but you're just trying to make steps in the right direction. Great. We never really recommend supplementing protein, but for those of you that do and that like to, great. Here's an option for you. They have 20 grams of protein with added BCAAs, collagen, and glutamine. And if you train with me, you know that I'm a big fan of glutamine. Texture, again, they nailed it. Fluffy, voluminous, satisfying. Fridays are our ice cream days for our family, and that's keto ice cream for mom and dad, of course. And don't worry. And for those of our clients that are fans of ice cream and adhere to their meal plan better, if there's like a sweet treat at the end of the week to be able to look forward to. So the cost on those is $3.50 each. Flavors, we have all these fully stocked. Chocolate chip, that is Taylor's favorite. I think it's our kids' favorite too. Mine is for sure double chocolate chip. Totally my favorite. It's basically like a giant brownie. Snickerdoodle, that's a good one. And lemon blueberry. These are all available at supersetyourlife.com. We do not accept donations for the show. However, if you would like to support, we'd love to earn your business through our website, whether it's through protein bars, Skullbellz, or natural sea salts. If you haven't been to our website lately, there's a lot of cool new stuff on there. Skullbellz production update. Raw material from our supplier hit the floor yesterday. So we are currently making blended skull cable attachment right now, where we blend multiple colors together. We're getting pretty creative with this. So anything that you got in mind, we can probably figure it out. So we call this the deltoid tessellator. We've been making these for several years now. Any color that you want, just email colt@supersetyourlife.com or contact me on Instagram. Next work order, our date is to be determined on that, but we will be doing straight barbells next. One last thing, if you haven't heard about our new podcast with Mark Ennis and Jonathan Griffiths, it is called Carnivore Coach's Corner. The three of us collaborate weekly to discuss listener questions, frequently asked questions at their one-on-one consultations, trending topics related to the carnivore diet and hypertrophy training, and we interview top meat-based nutritionists and coaches. We just had Richard Smith on from Keto Pro. Probably the best session that we've done on that show so far. It's life-changing. This guy's story is absolutely mind-blowing. If you haven't checked out that show yet, you'll be glad that you did after you do. So if you're a fan of the low-carb lifestyle or just getting into it, you can find us by searching Carnivore Coach's Corner on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Anchor, Overcast, and a bunch of other ones. So thanks again one more time. We'll catch you next week on episode 177. And I'm going to leave you with our battle cry at supersetyourlife.com, which is 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. Do you not know that your body is a sanctuary of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body. I'm going to add to that. This should apply to your exercise. This should apply to your nutrition. This should apply to what you put into your mind. Your body is a temple. Don't ever forget that. So treat it like one. Let's go, champ.